Never do this when you start mountain biking. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. My name is Brent. I'm an Arkansas-based adventure and wellness blogger, and as you might guess, I have gotten into mountain biking. I've caught in the bug. I'm jumping in full throttle, and I want to take you along in that journey. It's super fun. A lot of the things that I heard when I was getting into this was it's unsafe. I might run into a tree. I don't want to fall off a cliff. You know, all of those things are certainly valid, but obviously you don't want to do any of those things. I don't want to do any of those things, but I believe they really give you the wrong mindset of what mountain biking is. Because I am in Arkansas, we are going to be doing a lot of Arkansas-based trails. We're going to be starting in Little Rock. We're going to be in Burns Park. Last week I did the Red Trail. Today we're going to be talking about the Yellow Trail and Green Trail. And I want you to know as a beginner which trails you need to start out with. We're going to be talking about how long it takes to get through them. You got your bike, you're ready to go. This is day one out on the trails. Which trail do you go on? I'm going to tell you which one that is, so watch to the end of the video. And we're going to see some footage of me out there riding the trails, and I'm going to kind of give you a play-by-play of what I thought when I was riding the trails. But at the end of the day, I want you to get out there and just get started. Arkansas is pouring so much money into mountain biking. So if you live in Arkansas, you really have to get out, get yourself a bike, and start enjoying what we have out there. But if you live outside of the state, obviously come visit us. We have some great trail systems. All right, let's get to it. This is the Green Trail. One thing I really loved about this trail is there are just so many different types of people on this trail. So I've got some horseback riders that I'm meeting. There's people hiking out here. There are people playing disc golf. I don't know that much about disc golf, but every time I'm out here, there's a lot of people out there doing that. It's an easy enough trail that there's just a lot of different skill levels out here, and it's a relatively quick trail, but it's not so short that you're not going to get bored with it. You know, you're going to have fun with it. And there is enough technical terrain here that you can have a little bit of a challenge. And I will say this is actually the first trail that I ever did. And I don't really recommend this for a complete beginner. And so let me define that. When I say complete beginner, I'm talking about like this is your first trail. Maybe even your second trail. I probably wouldn't recommend it for that, just because when I did it, it was a little bit tough and I had to go super slow. I mean, I was pretty committed that I was going to be into mountain biking. Like this was going to be a new hobby that I got into, I invested time and resources into. But I will say there are some areas where you're kind of squeezing in between some trees. And if you're not used to that, or don't know to look out for that, or don't have a skill level that is developed for that, it can kind of be weird. I'm going to be honest with you. When you're first starting, it does not take long to get over that, so it's really not a big deal. There's some rock features you can see. There's a lot of roots and just a lot of things that for someone that's, you know, not super familiar with what they're doing, or even not just a little bit familiar with what they're doing, kind of might throw you off. Another thing about this trail that if you are again doing this on day one that you might not enjoy quite as much is there's a lot of uphill and downhill, and if you have ridden it a couple times, then you get used to that and you can totally enjoy those downhills. Like you can take them with speed, and then you can go up the uphill portions of the trail with less energy. You're not going to get tired out. When I first did this trail, I had to stop several times, and now I can do this super easily without stopping at all. I mean, it's not a challenge because you get used to that, right? You get used to going around corners a little bit faster, and there's just a lot of different things on this trail that I think makes sense for maybe even you've been into it for a month or so. Okay, this right here is the Yellow Trail. As you can see, we started off kind of going around a little bridge area. That's the neat thing about this trail, and right here is where I almost went over the handlebars. And I will say, for the most part, this is by far an easier trail. But I was going faster because I thought it was an easier trail, and I hit that route with a lot more speed than I would have. I don't think you're going to be doing that, honestly, as a complete beginner. If this is your first trail, I think you're going to be going pretty slow, and you're not going to have the same problem that I had here. This one is super flat. There's not a lot of ups and downs. There's both goods and bads of that. Here we've got a hiker.
You're out here with shorts
And
on,
it is
man. You're a
like,
brave soul.
it is like 40 degrees, maybe even a high 30s when I'm out here. And this guy was in shorts and short sleeves. I don't know. That's not me at all. I'm glad he could do it though. But yes, so this trail is super flat. And again, goods and bads for that. You get a lot of momentum built up from going downhill, and then you don't have to pedal as much uphill. But again, in my opinion, for a complete beginner, I would start on this trail first. I would go to the red trail, and then I would finish up with the green trail. And I think that's a really good progression. I think it's going to give you a lot more confidence when you're riding. And when you hit that green trail, you are going to be totally fine. But all of these are great, and I feel like everything that I just said comes with a lot of convenience. If you're super athletic, if you've been biking for a while, then none of these are any issue at all. Like, you can jump on the green trail, have a lot of fun. You can do this trail literally within 20 to 30 minutes, maybe as a complete beginner. If you've been biking for any time at all, it's not even going to take that. And it also has several shortcuts you can take, which is just cool to have. Options are great in general. Okay, the distance for both of these, 5.2 miles for the green trail and 1.7 miles for the yellow trail. Both of these are loops. There's a lot of other trails out in Burns Park, but they don't all loop back on each other. But there's a lot of different options out there to just go have fun, explore the day. And even these trails all intersect at some point. So you could spend half a day out in Burns Park if you wanted to. Again, really great beginner-friendly trails. Okay, so again, who are these trails for? I think all of these are very, very beginner-focused trails. There's not a lot of technical features on any of them. The yellow trail, for the significant majority of the trail, doesn't have any. The order that I would go in if I was starting out on these would be the yellow trail, the red trail, and then finally the green trail. Okay, the number one thing you should avoid as someone brand new to mountain biking is getting overconfident. And that's really just something you need to avoid in general getting into the sport. Because when you start getting overconfident, you start being less cautious, and you start taking on more challenges than maybe you're ready for. So never let your guard down. Always stay focused on what you're doing. Take precautions, wear the right equipment, and go on the trails that are best suited for your skill level. And you're going to have a great time, you're going to have fun, and you're going to be safe. That's it for today. If you haven't checked out the first video reviewing the red trail loop in Burns Park, go check that out. I also have a full guide to Arkansas mountain biking in the description. I'll have another review up soon. But until then, get outdoors, find something you love, and live your life.